And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put barakah in this day, and starting the day with reminders to remind ourselves of our duty towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, towards the legacy of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to bring human beings from the darkness into the light. This is what the duty of a Muslim is, and this is what the duty of every single one of us should be. As we know, that da'wah is fard kifaya. It is a fard that can be fulfilled by a group of people. However, it is something that if we accept that, yes, alhamdulillah, meaning that we are not accountable if we do not personally necessarily do da'wah. As long as there's a group in our society, in our community that does da'wah, alhamdulillah, we are safe from being punished or being held responsible by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. However, all of us need goodness. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us, بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةً, convey from me even if it's one ayah. One ayah. There are millions, actually billions of people today. We have over 6 billion people in the world. Only about 1.2, depending on the number, statistics and so on, are Muslim. And amongst those 1.2 billion, let's say, many of them are not practicing. Many of them are involved in all kinds of different practices that might not be correct according to Islam. So people are in need of guidance. People are in need of light. So the Prophet ﷺ told us, بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةً, convey from me even if it's one ayah. And we all know the most important ayah in the Quran. Of course, it is Ayatul Kursi. Okay, but there's an even easier one. An easier one that the whole world needs to understand. It's very short. People don't have long attention spans today. And it is Qul hu Allahu ahad. Simple. Say. The Prophet ﷺ is told, ordered by Allah, say to them, Allah is one. Qul hu Allahu ahad. Say, Allah is one. Brothers, sisters, billions of people need to know Qul hu Allahu ahad. That's it. Say Allah is one. There's only Tawheed. There's only the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And every single one of us can do that. It's as simple as that. Don't have to be some kind of, expert da'i or anything like that. Keep it simple. Think big, keep it simple. Who can argue with Qul hu Allahu ahad? I always say that. Who can? We're not trying to insult anyone here, but who can? The Christians? No, they can't. They'll say, Jesus is this, and our theology says that. You say to them, Qul hu Allahu ahad, Allah is one. Who can? You don't have to defend Tawheed. It's the natural disposition, the de facto position of the world is that there is one creator only, and He has created everything, and He is the author of life, and He is the one that everything depends and relies onto. It's as simple as that. You do not have to go and prove Tawheed. Now you have to prove now with atheists, you have to show them that God exists in the first place. But most people in the world believe in something, in some kind of system, because it's built in their fitrah. The God spot, as psychologists call it. We are wired to believe in a higher being, higher existence. Now, the fitrah needs guidance. The fitrah needs hidayah. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent revelation and prophets, so they can fine-tune that natural disposition. So you find that the natives of the Amazon, they believe in spirits. Okay, they have this desire to believe in something that is higher than them. The Christians believe in a Trinity. The Hindus believe in different manifestations of God. And so on and so forth. So many different nationalities, nations, tribes, backgrounds. They all have this desire to manifest their belief in a higher existence. Even the atheists, the scientists, they will say Mother Nature. Mother Nature. What is Mother Nature? When you can't explain something, when something is out of the realm of science, they will say Mother Nature. Isn't it? Human beings are wired for belief in a higher existence. But they need hidayah. They need hidayah to fine-tune that guidance. لِيُخْرِجَهُم مِّنَ الظُّلُمَاتِ إِلَى النُّورِ. So that it takes them out of the darkness into the light. And that's why Allah has sent prophets. Not one, not two, not three, 120,000 plus prophets or messengers that were sent to mankind to guide them, to tell them what to do, what not to do. Because it's a fine-tuning. Yes, they feel, yes, there's a higher being. So what do if they don't have guidance? They start worshipping or doing things according to their whims and desires. And with time, a culture is established. After this culture takes strength, then this becomes a religion. You know, when people talk about there's religions, your religion, my religion, that is not correct. There is no such thing as religions. I mean, they are man-made things. There's the right way, and the Prophet ﷺ made it very clear. He drew a line, and he said, this is the path of Allah. This is the way, from the beginning till the end. From the first creation, Allah created the angels to worship Him, to serve Him. Then Allah created human beings, Adam, till the last moment when Allah will order the angel of death to take his own soul. He will die, the one who is in charge of extracting all the souls. Till then, okay, there's only one path, and that is Islam. Simple. Oh, Islam means Arabs. Oh, Islam means Mohammedism. Oh, Islam means this or that, Malay or Arab, or it means to submit to God. As simple as that. You submit to the will of your Creator to achieve internal peace, external peace, physical, spiritual, you name it. So there's one line. So he drew the line, and then he said, he drew some lines from the side of it. And he said, these are the paths or the deviations or the subul of shaitan. Okay, so there's people come and say, yeah, you're, lakum dinukum waliyadin. It's not, it means to you be your path and to be mine. Okay, it's a path, a deen, a way of life. That's what it is. Atheism is a religion. It's a way of life. It has a set of belief. It has its scholars. It has its proponents. It has its propaganda. It's just like that. It's dawah. People make dawah to atheism. Okay, so the Prophet ﷺ, all the prophets came to make sure that human beings take and stay on the right path. They followed the correct trajectory to reach their final destination. If you don't have the map, if the GPS, I just took a wrong exit coming here, it delayed me. If you don't have the right coordinates, the right map, you will not be able to reach your destination. It's as simple as that. So this is a duty upon all of us to at least convey to everyone. Qul huwa Allahu ahad. To our neighbors, to our family who might not be practicing, to whoever are at work, we meet people. Do we ever, and I'm not saying that you have to directly start fighting with someone and arguing. Oh, you're wrong, you're going to hell or something like that. No. I'm not saying that. And it's not me saying. The Prophet ﷺ, yes, he did warn people about Jahannam and so on and so forth. But he tells us, "Ud'u ila sabili rabbika bil hikmah." Call to the way of your Lord with hikmah. This is a general ruling. The specifics can differ. Yes, when Musa went to meet Fir'aun and he saw that things that don't work, right? He said to him a kind word. There is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells him, and say to him a kind word. And he kept going and going. But when it didn't work and the challenge stood, then he called him out in the public, in the face of everyone, so that they can see that the snake, the staff of Musa, will swallow the fake lies of the magicians. So he made an example, and that's why people believe. Right? So it depends on the circumstance. But in general, kind, polite, good way, talk, indirect, I'm going for salah, I'm a Muslim, you know, this is why, because I'm a Muslim. Always we should go back. People ask you, why are you wearing hijab? Why are you going to pray? Why you don't eat non-halal? What simple things that come out every day. Why you guys celebrate Eid? Why you don't celebrate this one? Why you don't celebrate that one? Why you don't like? And you just always you say, because I'm Muslim. Because I am Muslim. Yusuf alayhi salam, when he's in jail, and the people come to him to ask him, they say, we see you very righteous, good person. Look at that. Immediate dawah. Why? Through his behavior. I don't think Yusuf alayhi salam was going around jail and standing on a pulpit and preaching. Allah, maybe he was. I'm not sure. But what we know from the Quran is that people observed him. And they saw him, min al-muhsinin. They saw him that he is from the righteous people. The way he behaves, the way he sits, the way he eats. You see that sometimes, right? Someone who has this charisma, this ability to speak, to be righteous, you know, they don't cut in line, they don't drive in the wrong way, they don't smell bad, they always dress nice, they're polite, they open the door for you, they say hello, good morning, salamu alaikum, whatever it might be, smiling all the time. They don't cheat, they don't lie, they don't go late, they don't leave early. All these things, small things. May Allah forgive us all. We all fall short of this, including myself, starting with me. But these small things, people notice. And when there's a pattern of consistency, people start saying, hey, Yusuf, we see you being very, very kind and righteous. We have some problems. Can you solve it for us? We dreamed this and we dreamed that. And what do you think it means? Imagine, people now feel comfortable to open up problems to the extent of a dream that is so personal, isn't it? Something so intimate, such as a dream, they're willing to come and say, hey, what do you think this means? I have a problem. Hey, I have a problem at home. Hey, I have a problem at work. I see you as a Muslim. You're a righteous person. Or by the way, why are you so good? So Yusuf alayhi salam, he says, then he makes dawah. You know, there's a few ayats that come and says, I left the way of the forefathers, the wrong way, and I followed the way of God. Are more gods better than one God? Right? He brings him to Tawheed, right? He takes that opportunity now to strike while the iron is hot. How difficult it is for a lot of us to open up a discussion about Tawheed. Not everyone has a YouTube channel where they start preaching. Not everyone is a natural preacher. It's very difficult, especially face to face, especially in a context of work, of being with people that you know it's sensitive. There's policies at work that maybe you're not supposed to talk about religion and all that, So it's very difficult. But when people come and ask you, and you respond. And people will come and ask you about Islam. Brothers and sisters, I wanted to have that introduction because one of the most amazing tools today for doing da'wah, the responsibility that we should all take upon ourselves, is social media. And social media, I think we all have some form of social media, right? Everyone's got Instagram? No? No Instagram. Allahu Akbar. Beautiful. All right. Facebook? Yeah, most of us have Facebook. WhatsApp, okay, it's considered social media, right? Most of us WhatsApp, Telegram. Okay, most of us have these social media tools. So they're very, very good for da'wah because now it's so easy to reach thousands, millions of people with just a live broadcast such as this, right? People from India, from China, from Malaysia, from USA, from Germany, from the UK, they can turn in and watch and benefit. right? There's so much now. We live in a time, a society that is full of information. I need something to search. I go to Google, I search, and I find. Of course, you need to understand what's academic, what's not, what's reliable, and what's not. We can talk about it in a bit. But you can find anything. You want Sahih Bukhari, everything is on your phone. You want Sahih Muslim, everything is on the phone. Ibn Majah, Abu Dawood, Tirmidhi, everything is on a click of a button. And everything is in our pocket. 50 years ago, only 50 years ago. Look at this, let's understand this a little bit. 50 years ago, if you were to tell someone that, by the way, I have the whole library of the National Library of London in my pocket, someone will be like, you're crazy. They'll send you to the doctor. If you insist on it, they might deem you as crazy, isn't it? If you were to tell them, I will be able to have a TV in my pocket, or I have a TV, they'll say, no way. They'll call the doctor. If you were to say that on a thumb drive, on a memory stick, that you can put all the books of the world in one memory stick, right? On a plastic chip, people will say, okay, no way, impossible. How? Books on a shelf, on a plastic thing, you put on your keychain, you stick it in something, you open it, impossible. They'll say you're crazy. But look, this is the reality. A perfect example how sometimes, pay attention, we don't understand certain things, but that doesn't mean they cannot happen. We can. Sometimes we don't understand certain things in our lives, even within the Deen. So many people leave Islam or get all, weird about it because I don't understand this. Doesn't make sense to me. Subhanallah. How come? It's not about whether you understand or not. It's about whether you have patience to understand, whether you have patience to take time. So here, fast forward 50 years and I'm strapped to 4 mics right now. 3 cameras reaching out to thousands of people who are sitting on other phones such as this and watching. Look at that, how it changed, how the understanding changed and everything. Social media is an extremely powerful tool to reach to people, dawah, to talk to parents, talk to family. We can, do Skype calls to our family. Imagine 50, 60, 100 years ago, you had to write letters. The best thing you would have is Morse code, tick, 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 something like that. Okay, smoke signals, North America, the natives. Pigeons would carry messages. Horses would carry letters. That's it. Trains, ships. It'll take months for letters to reach. Years sometimes for just communication. Today, WhatsApp call. Back right away. To Canada. Can just call my mom. Back. My brother, sisters, whatever you have, family, wherever they are, you can just basically give them. Okay? So it's very, very simple. It's very, very simple to connect to people. Social media has become one of the most powerful tools. And there's good in it and bad in it. In and of itself, the fiqh, the permissibility of social media is mubah. It's allowed. Okay? When does it change ruling? Depends on what you're using it for, what you put on it. If it is for haram, something bad, you're listening to something bad, watching something, it's of itself, it becomes haram. If it's something good, you benefit from it, then it is beneficial and it is good. TV, like anything else. These things by default are just mubah. There's no ruling halal or haram on them. They're allowed, permissible. But depends on how you use it. Okay? But before I get into that a little bit, on the problems, as this lecture is entitled, A Tool Not to Fool With. Having said all these things on how easy social media has made it for us to communicate, it has really taken the spirit out of things in general. For example, you know, when you had letters, when you would send emails, you would make a phone call before, you used to really enjoy it, you used to look forward to it. Today, it becomes something like we've taken it for granted. I mean, really, we find that before we used to try to communicate more with our loved ones than we do now, that it's so easy. I mean, my mom, for example, is in Canada. I talk to her once in a while. I should talk to her every day. I should talk to her every day. But subhanAllah, I know it's so busy. I have so many other things. It's so easy for me to reach to so many different people. So I feel that it's like it's lost its importance. I feel like it's lost its importance. When you used to send a letter, you used to cherish and wait for that letter to come. It used to be so beautiful. A phone call, you know, you used to talk and talk. Now it's like, you know, you can just flip it towards the green or flip it towards the red. Or you send a message, I'll call you back. You know, you have so many options now to just reject the call. Isn't it? And we do a lot of times. Astaghfirullah, may Allah forgive us. You know, we're so busy. Before, we used to prepare for a conversation with our loved ones. We used to prepare for communication with people. Now, wallahi, when I see people talking to each other, me, myself including, I blame myself first. I will never preach to you and not blame myself. We don't even look at each other. When we talk to someone, even when we shake hands, it's like sideways almost. The Prophet ﷺ never do that. He always used to turn his whole body, to the point they used to say we felt like there's no one else around except us, except me. He's only for me. But today, hey, how are you? We just don't even look, don't have time. We're so rushed because there's so much more we can do. Before, when you used to leave the house, you would have a few things to do. You would try to do 1 or 2 things in a day. A list of 2 things. I will take the bus, or I will walk to the market and buy this. This will take some time. Then I'll meet my friend or my relative, and this would take some time, because you would speak, you would catch up, what happened, because you cannot communicate that easily. And it will be so meaningful, you connect so well. And you come home and do some cooking, and kids are coming, and finish. Today, when we leave out, we set up with a huge list of things. I got to pay the bills, all very simple. Tuck, 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 application. On the right. Oh, don't interrupt me, I'm doing something. You know? Someone's coming to ask you, no, I'm busy. And then check the social media. So many people have sent you messages, you have to reply. And then let's see the updates. You know, everyone's putting out. And we have thousands of friends, right, on our social media. 1,000 friends. You know, sometimes it says, oh, this person cannot accept any more friends. It's reached the limit. We have so many things, so many people to catch up with. Oh, he's eating an ice cream. Oh, she's just going at the doctor. Oh, they just checked out in this hotel. Oh, they're flying from this place. At KL International Airport. You know, checking in. And then Instagram. And then Telegram. And then, I don't know, Periscope. And this and that. And what is that, the other one? What's another popular social media? Twitter. There's another one. Snapchat. That's right, Snapchat, right? So many things to catch up with. And you know, there's a study. And I think we need to understand, because I do a lot of introspection. I know how I feel. My kids sometimes complain, they say, you're too much on your phone. And they're right. They are very right. Because most of my work is on the phone. While it used to be that I used to have meetings before, I used to meet people face to face. Now mostly conference calls, messages, Allahu Akbar, WhatsApp groups. You wake up in the morning, 150 messages you have to catch up with, right? When you see that bubble, 154. And you're like, oh man. So you have to go back, and then you see, you know, these WhatsApp groups, 100 people in the WhatsApp group, everyone's fighting, arguing. Right? Workplaces love to create WhatsApp groups. I got about 7 or 8 WhatsApp groups with about 40 people in my workplace. And everyone's got something. No, you're right. No, you're wrong. Okay, we have to do this. And then I have to check it. And they expect you to check at 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 5 a.m. When you wake up in the morning, subhanallah, instead of saying, Alhamdulillah alladhi ahyana ba'da ma amatana wa ilayhi nushur, first thing we do is we pick our phone. Why? Because it's right next to our bed. It's right next to our bed. It's right next to our bed. Mine is there. Under the pretext that I need an alarm, but still, it's right there. So I fight myself to first, at least, I know it's important, I know we have, but at least I fight myself to say the dua and then pick up my phone and check what's going on. Because subhanAllah, everyone is there. I mean, if I miss one day if I turn off my phone for one day, it's over. I could get fired. I mean, things will go upside down. That's how this is called the culture. We are living in a culture of social media. Things have been sped up. Everything is fast. Everything happens fast. And hence, because of this, it's lost its value. It has lost its value. Wallahi, I swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may Allah forgive me. I know what I'm saying, I take responsibility. It has lost its value. Work cannot be, I mean education. Education is, these days, if you want to manage through WhatsApp and through social media, well, your kids are not going to receive. I see teachers on WhatsApp while they're in the class. Staff on their phones checking. Everyone is always checking. We're checking what's going on. And it is, mark my words, based on the studies that has been done about 2-3 years ago, it is an addiction. It is an addiction. I'll tell you how you know it's an addiction. And they said, and I swear, it happens to me. I feel sometimes my phone is ringing or vibrating in my pocket, and it's not. And it's not. They say this desire, this need to check your phone or to touch it, it's mostly in our hands. Most of the time it's in our hand. It is an addiction. So they checked, they did a study, and they compared it to addiction to cocaine. And they said the same neurotransmitter is released when you get pleasure from cocaine that when you get pleasure from the phone or social media. You get happy when someone gives you likes. If you have a lot of likes, a lot of views, someone sent you a message, you get very happy. If someone doesn't, people have committed suicide. Mark my words. Do some research. People have committed suicide because of cyberbullying, because of lack of interaction on social media, because of not having a friend. I know someone who has left Islam because he couldn't get enough followers on social media. And he was messaging some of the du'at, guys, please push people towards me. I need followers. I mean, it is ridiculous. It is changing our fitrah. By the way, our fitrah is not static. You have to understand that. Our fitrah is very fluid. Much more fluid in women than in men. But it is very fluid. It can change. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is created in a certain way, and this fitrah can change. Our brain, the way it works, it changes. So when we're exposed to these things, it is very easy for us to change. But mark my words, what I said is that we have lost the meaning of communication, of relationship. Social media, now our friends are mostly online. How many of us actually sit and spend time with someone, a friend of ours, as much as we spend with our phone? How many of us, including myself, spend time with the Quran as much as we spend with our phone? Imagine if you were to check the Quran as much as you check your phone and social media. Imagine. for guidance, right? I mean, we want to know what's up. What's up? We don't. We mostly spend time with this. Everything has changed, brothers and sisters. We have changed our fitrah. This tool, you can't fool with it. But there's certain things in this world that when you realize that they're not good for you, you have to fight it. You have to control it. You have to be very careful. And I know not of too many people who are able to do that. Very few people. Blessings be on those who are of the older generation who say, you know what, we grew up like this and we don't need this thing, you know, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah that you were not exposed to this. Wallahi, it's a big blessing. People start looking, you know, bad on the elders and they say they don't know what's happening, you know, they're not kept up with what's going on where they were. You're wrong. You are wrong. They will not be accountable for the crap, sorry, excuse my French, that we see on these phones. Because they don't have to go through it. Alhamdulillah. You know, they say, you know, my grandma, for example, she has one of those, I mean, she was fighting not to get a mobile phone. You know, my uncle was trying to get her a mobile phone. You know, a smartphone, a stupid phone. So she said she got one of those dial phones, you know, 1, 2, 3, there's like 3 letters on each dial, on each number. You know, if someone call, hello, yes, and hang up. That's it. No text, no nothing. Simple. This is it. So they are blessed because they saved themselves. Yeah, they're not in line with 21st century culture and all this hip, whatever, Hollywood, Bollywood, Hollywood, everything. But in the end of the day, they saved their souls. And who cares if they're not in line with the 21st century culture? Who says that this culture is a good culture anyway? Why do people think that progression necessarily means good? They think that the more we go with time and the more we invent and the more techy we get, that somehow it is better. It's not. That's not the case necessarily. There can be a lot of things, of course, with medicine and advancement and so on. It's good, yes. More people live longer lives today. Alhamdulillah, in the end, Allah is the one who decides who lives and who dies. But still, we do our best. So that's good. There's positives. I'm not trying to say that, no. But in the end of the day, when it comes to social media and what we're exposed to, everything has changed, including family relationships. Including family relationships. You go to a waiting room and you find father, mother, children, everyone's on their phone. They're not talking to each other. They're not looking at each other. We are giving our children a phone just to keep quiet. Shut up. Just take the phone, leave me alone. Little kids. You go to restaurants now. You know, restaurants caught up. They have iPads that they give to kids so they can watch stuff. They're already preloaded with games and everything. Kids keep quiet. They're hooked on it. Parents can be on their phone or maybe talk or whatever if they do. And that's it. This is a society that we're faced today. Tell me I'm wrong. Everywhere I look, I see this. On the train, on the bus, everywhere, someone is on some kind of social media, checking, looking, liking, disliking, and so on. It has changed. In bed, we're sitting next to each other, checking. The children want to read, they want to see, want to play games. You know? And subhanAllah, because the screen is so small, your focus becomes so small. There's so much more around you, but it teaches you to focus on something very small. Imagine your train ride. Why we're surprised today that people don't believe in God. Atheism is taking such a huge jump. I mean, just a simple ride with the train. When you look around you, you look at people, you look at trees, you look at the sky, this inspires you. The awe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He has created these things. But when you're so look at how vast your focus should be. But when your focus is on just something small, that's all you can see. Something very, very small. You rely upon this. Wallah, you can leave your house without your wallet. You can leave because you can do automatic pay, touch. You can leave your house without your children and your wife and your husband. But you cannot leave your house without your phone. Can. Even if you forget your car keys, even if something, you can call Grab application. anything but your phone, you start panicking, you start flipping if you don't have your phone, right? It's in your pocket. Where's your phone? A phone rings and it's the same ringtone as everyone starts checking, you know, what's going on, right? Everything. It has changed everything. And now I will get into the more important topic, that what it has changed. And forgive me if I'm blunt about this. It has changed the sexual dynamics in the society, okay, because of pornography. I know it's a very uncomfortable thing to talk about, and sadly the Muslims are very uncomfortable to talk about it, but it is destroying our children. Not only our children, even our adults. Because as I said, the fitra, the human being, is wired for this act. And when they start seeing some of these things, the mind starts changing. Especially when it is in a formative period, which is in the time of formation, where the child develops their personality, their ego, their alter ego, and so on. They form, they become adults, who they are, their personality. So when this happens, and people are exposed to this, I mean, you take this thing with you in everywhere. No one can see. You're in your washroom, you're in the bedroom, you're this, you're that. And watch, and something pops out all of a sudden. And then you watch it. It changes. Wallah, you watch it one time, it will change your mind. It will change your child's mind. That's why I always advocate for parents, be careful what you do with this. Do not allow your children to have their own mobiles. Do not allow them to take them somewhere in private where they can be alone. There is so much of this on the internet today. Even Facebook, even Instagram, even these applications. No matter how many blocks the governments have tried to put, there's always VPNs. There's always things to go around it. There's always way, and everyone knows. And they go to school and everyone puts their heads together and they find ways to go around it. And they do it. Even adults out of curiosity, let me just check it. You check it, okay. One time you watch it, you can be hooked. And it will change the way you see your husband. It will change the way you see your wife. Why? Because all these things are fake. They're staged. They're wrong. The Muslim Ummah is hooked on this. I was just reading a statistics. And it showed by country. It showed the world map, and it showed what do they search. What are the terms, the keywords that people search, including Muslim countries, including Saudi Arabia, including Egypt, Turkey, Indonesia, Malaysia, you name it. And it's searched by both men and women. Don't think it's only men. It's always the men, doing these nasty things. No, women too. And people are watching this stuff. And it changes. All of a sudden there's estrangement from each other because it's not natural anymore. All of a sudden dynamics change. People are not yet married. Youth who will get married, they have a certain expectation, a certain mind that this is how it should be. And then when they reach their marriage night, they find that it's not how it is. And then, why are we surprised that divorce rates are over 50%? Why are we surprised that people are turning towards homosexuality and lesbianism? Why? It's rampant. How? Are they born like that? No, they're not. It's because they are exposed to some of these things. And human mind changes. It's very fluid. Very, very fluid. Sexuality is very fluid. And when they're exposed to these things through social media, they get confused. And they want to experiment. And when they like it, then they stick to it. And people make a decision. They say, this is my lifestyle now. And then they start labeling themselves and taking these letters and these labels. And they say, Islam is, I don't like Islam. It doesn't allow me to express myself. Express yourself. Why? You corrupted your fitrah. One exposure, it's like, as I said, like drugs. One time you take cocaine, you get addicted. It's as simple as that. One time you watch porn, you can get hooked. Please please, this is one of my duties in this world. And what I do, work in education now for the past 15 years. I'm a principal of a school. I deal with thousands of students every year, thousands. My previous tenure, I had 2,500 students. I can only tell you with the issues that I dealt with. You will not believe it. Your mouth will drop. But this is the reality. And sometimes we tend to not look at reality. We tend to not want to hear it. We don't want to hear it. But this is reality. And then we wake up later on after ignoring some of these things. And we wake up, our children telling us, Mom, Dad, I'm this, I'm that. What do you mean you're this and that? I didn't teach you like that. I didn't show you these things. I took you to the masjid. I taught you how to pray. I taught you ethics and morals, love and kindness. What do you mean you're like this and like that? You have a label. I am this, I am that. What do you mean you don't like Islam? You don't want to practice Islam anymore. How are we shocked? When they were given tarbiyah by social media, they were literally changed. I use the word changed. Their minds were changed. And when the new neuronal connections form and they become strong, as I said, they will, and human beings desire, they have this need to be with others. They have this, we're social, beings. And when they find a group that accepts them, then they will go, they will take that label. It's not their nature. They're not born like that. Trust me. There is no such thing. There's no scientific research to show anything as someone is born. No. It all depends on the experience. And if this experience is something, it will form them in that way. Be careful. It has changed so many things on so many different levels. And then we wonder why there's divorce. So definitely, it's a tool not to fool with. Be careful. Do not give your children mobile phones. This is my easiest solution. If they want to use a computer, always have the computer in a main room, in the living room where everyone can see. If they want to do research, don't buy them laptops and tablets and stuff like they can go in their room and lock the door. Oh, it's my privacy. What? Where is this concept coming from? What privacy? That's not privacy. It's like I'm giving you a loaded gun and I'm saying, go, it's your privacy. Put it somewhere in a common area where the whole family can see it. They want to do school research. They want to watch something. They want to watch YouTube. They want to see a funny video. They want to watch some cartoon. Whatever. Okay, fine. Put it somewhere where someone can be around them. Do not give them these private, personal mobile devices so they can search whatever they want. SubhanAllah. You type pony into Google and see what comes up. Don't do it, please, yeah? I'm just telling you. Pony! Something that a child would do, right? A child wants to see a pony, for God's sake, these sick people. A pony, Barbie, something like that. And see what comes up. Children are going to want to see a pony. Pink. Type pink. Pink. P-I-N-K. It's a color. Most girls like pink. A'udhu billah. These sick people are making money from this. And they know exactly where to strike. It is a science. They've studied it. If you ever have a time to watch a documentary called The Corporation, so you understand how it all started, from Sigmund Freud's cousin, who's one of the famous psychologists, how they use mass media, how they manipulated terms, terminology, how they force people to buy things and to look into things that they don't need, to be addicted. It is all done strategically. Don't think that this has happened. And it's not coincidental that even on the cover of that documentary, the person that is showed is this red guy with the hat, but he has a tail like a shaitan. Okay, because in the end of the day, this is what it is. The mastermind behind all these things. The mastermind behind all these things is shaitan. He says, look at this, look at that, click, go more, find out more, read a bit more. For us, growing up in the West, in North America, in Europe, we didn't know better. We didn't know better. We grew up with this stuff. It's nothing, adi, or easy. We don't know halal, haram. But in Muslim countries, to see that Muslim countries are number one, topping all the other countries in searching pornography, it is very sad, because we know what's haram and halal. We've been taught, we know better. We know better. You guys know, when we grew up, when I was in Canada, it's normal. Come on. People don't mind, even adults. It's like something like, what the problem? But for those who know what's haram and halal, we should stay. Why did Allah make the hudud halal? No, I'm okay. This is not good. This is this guy. Oh, it's halal and haram, so you don't cross the boundaries, because it will change you. You will get hooked on. Drugs. It's about pleasure. Pleasure, pleasure. Pleasure from this, from sex, pleasure from drugs. It's pleasure. In the end, you can take pleasure in halal or in haram. So I can have pleasure from drinking juice. But I'll also get pleasure from drinking alcohol. One is halal, one is haram. It'll be very pleasure, man. When you drink alcohol, sorry to be blunt, makes you feel like, ooh, you know. And people want to experience that. But Allah has said it's haram. Pork. Pork tastes good. You know, I don't like when people say, pork, man, this is so bad. Oh, it's one of the best tasting meats. But it's haram. Don't give me this, oh, the pig is like... Allah didn't say that. Allah said it is haram. You do not come close, you don't eat it. Don't give me these explanations. When someone asks you, why is this haram? You say, because Allah said so. Because Allah says in the Quran. If Allah gives you the hukum and He gives you a reason behind it, okay, good. But don't try to invent things, because people will not accept it. Allah said so. I stay away from it. Yeah, man, you take cocaine, it's like you're flying on clouds. Of course, when you get hooked to it, it's a different story. I mean, I lived and I had drug dealers in my family. I've known people, not talking about small things, big things. And I've seen how they could have destroyed their lives. One of my best friends was murdered. Small things, yes, pleasure, but halal. Okay, but there's halal way, haram way. And Allah has put a boundary. This is it. You cross, yeah, you'll get pleasure, but it's haram and you will destroy yourself. And the worst destruction is in the hereafter. So we need to wake up. We need to wake up. People need to talk about these things. I know they're taboo. I know a lot of people are not comfortable with this thing. But I feel that it's very important for people to wake up and to face it. Let's remove the shame. Let's remove the taboos. Hit it face first. So at least maybe the next generation that's coming, to raise a pure generation that doesn't get exposed to this stuff. It can happen. It can happen. If there's enough awareness of these problems, of how problems happen, it can happen. It can happen. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to achieve this and protect us. Last but not least, brothers and sisters, the interaction on social media, the way we talk to people and so on. Social media is very easy, you know, you type, you can say things, you can text. And because it's used for a lot of purposes, even on that we have to have manners. Okay, the way you message someone, the way you talk to someone. Someone message you, gender interactions, what you show, what you like. Sadly today, I mean, if someone sends us something horrible, something that is haram, a lot of people start sharing it, spreading it, liking it. They think it's funny. They think it's funny. But they don't realize that by doing that, you're taking sin. A lot of people will get involved in that. A lot of people start insulting each other on social media. You know, friends, families, whatever. People start talking, arguing, debating. You have to have good manners even on social media. It is part of a Muslim to have manners in his writing, in his speaking, and whatever they do. Have good manners. Don't insult people. Don't swear. Don't use bad words. Don't share material that's offensive. Don't like material that's offensive. The more likes and shared, the more people it reaches. And you are part of that. You know? Be careful with this. When it comes to Muslim posts, okay, dawah. We have so many scholars and so on posting things. People start fighting and arguing. You're right, I'm wrong, this and that, whatever. Up and down, left and right. There's adab in dealing with that. Be careful. We're not scholars. You know, people start discussing an Islamic ruling or something like that. People start posting links and copying and saying this and saying that. This is what's happening here. Be careful. We are responsible for everything we say and do. Everything. Respect people. Don't engage and waste your time with battles online as to, you know, even when it comes to Islamic things. Okay, if you listen to a lecture, good. If you find it beneficial, good. If you don't find it beneficial, leave it. Okay? Don't make a point for you to add, you know, to the fight, to the fire and so on. You might not know what the issue is. You might not have understanding of that issue or the hukum or whatever it is. Just leave it. Let the scholars, if they want to debate it out, this is their responsibility. I'm not saying that everyone should just hold hands and we're all, you know, no. There is something who's right and some people who are wrong. No doubt about it. There's people who follow the sunnah and people who don't follow the sunnah. It's not because I say, it's because whether they follow it or not. Because the sunnah is clear, the Quran is clear. But it's not our responsibility. Let the scholars who have the tools and the knowledge do that. Your little comment will not make a difference. I know you maybe sometimes feel like I should say something, I should do this, I should. But in the end of the day, it's only going to cause more problems. And someone else will say something and start insulting each other. Sometimes close friends, brothers and sisters, they start fighting for no reason. And maybe the issue that they debate is an issue of ijtihad, of opinion. It's not even a clear-cut ruling. So be careful. Don't let your emotions. Shaitan wants to make enmity between people. And he'll do it very well in person. He'll do it very well on social media as well. He's there. He's always trying his best as long as he is alive to misguide us. And he'll do it through social. He has promised that he'll do it. So be very careful. Be very careful what you write, what you say, what you share. You know, with your family, with your friends, your brothers, your sisters in Islam. Something beneficial, take it. Something is not beneficial, leave it. Don't waste your time. People spend hours, subhanallah, debating. You are wrong, I am right. They miss salah. There was people who miss salah. It's ajib. It is strange. A story, and I close with this and open maybe for a question. I met a person who is very close to becoming Muslim. And he wanted to come see me. So as usually, I meet people of different backgrounds, different issues. I counsel people from whatever background, doesn't matter. People are not Muslim, people are Muslim, they have issues, psychological, family, children, whatever, education, whatever it is. So this guy came and he said, I'm very interested in Islam. So like usual, I said, okay, so what do you know about Islam? I was shocked how much he knew about Islam. I was shocked how much he knew about the differences in Islam, about what the people debate online. And then he told me that I'm one of those people who are debating, spending hours, which is wrong, which one's right, how you pray, this is shirk, this is not, oh, this madhab, that, you know. I was, wow, he's talking about Imam Malik, Imam Ahmed, Shafi'i, Abu Hanifa, blah, Kitab al-Tawheed, this, that. I was like, wow. I was so impressed. I was like, wow, man, amazing. Then he dropped a bomb on me. He shocked me. You know what he said? He said, I'm not Muslim. I said, what do you mean you're not Muslim? You're debating Muslims. He says, yes, this is the haqq. He said, it's a haqq. He said, he used the word haqq. He said, he used the word sunnah, Quran and sunnah. I was like, what do you mean you're not Muslim? He said, well, I'm not yet decided whether I should become. He was Sikh. He was a Sikh brother, Sikh guy. As in Sikh, you know, the religion. I said, bro, what do you mean? He said, yeah, because like I want to become Muslim, but he says, I feel that my niyyah is not correct. He used the word niyyah. Now I'm extremely confused. He said that if my niyyah is not right and I will accept Islam, it will be shirk. I said, bro, but you're kafir. I said, what do you mean it will be shirk? I swear, and he left my office. He didn't want to take shahada. I said, bro, take shahada. He says, no, I'm not ready. I'm scared of shirk. I said, what do you mean scared of shirk? I was shocked. I couldn't talk to him. I don't know what to say to him. I tried to give him the whole 9 yards, everything about us. He's like, he knew everything. He knew everything. He's spending 6 to 8 hours every day online debating on aqidah, on fiqh, on these crazy, you know, very, very high level stuff. He knows the scholars and the names and the books, and he's saying, this is the sunnah, haqq, you know? And I was like, you are not a Muslim. He said, I'm not a Muslim. He says, if I will take Islam, my niyyah I feel is not right, it will be shirk. Look how shaitan plays with you, plays with us. So, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from this. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us hidayah always and forgive us. Jazakumullah khair. If there are any questions, inshallah, we'll take some questions. And if you want to write them or something like that, or if you want to just ask, it's okay, no problem. Maybe if it's, I usually prefer if you ask so everyone can hear, but if you feel you're not comfortable, then you can write it. I can give you some pen and paper and you can write it.
Any question?
Yes, ma'am.
Assalamualaikum. Thank you for the lecture. We know all these problems that you are saying. I know it's a big question to ask you. What would be the practical solution to all this? I mean, you can't take away the phones, smartphones and all that, because it's become a necessity. And you know, in schools now also they're encouraging children to use phone for their homework, whatever, to WhatsApp the teachers for questions and all that. And it's become almost part of our daily life. How do we, what is the practical thing that we can
Okay, two things. Of course, first and foremost, the tarbiyah and the taqwa then we instill in our kids. Because no matter what, they'll have some access at some point. If they don't have taqwa and fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will find a way. They will find a way. So the taqwa is what helps you to stay away. But that is it's so rare today. Allah knows best. Taqwa has become a very rare thing today. I believe so. It's something very sad. And we can see, look at our condition, the ummah. You can see very well. And that's why Umar Khattab used to have this very strong statement. He said, fear your sins more than you fear your enemies. Because in the end of the day, it was the taqwa that gave Muslims the victory over when the numbers, statistics, everything was against them. It was that taqwa. That taqwa gives you this power when one person becomes like 10. And even if the odds don't match, the victory comes. So if we can instill taqwa in them, that will be the first thing. Second thing is, you can take away. You communicate with the parents. All these are meant for homework and stuff like that, be it Schoology or Classroom Dojo or whatever it is. They're all available on the desktop as well. Keep a desktop in the main room. That's what I always say. You communicate with the parents, or you sit with your child when they're communicating. Don't let them be alone. Don't let them be alone with the phone. If you want to reach them at school, give them one of those old phones with just the keypad. They're still around, the Nokias. Still, quite new models are coming up just for communication. Go back to phone calls, leave text and so on. Call them, you can hear their voice. You know, text is very easy to lie in text. It's very easy to, you don't know the feeling. Just get a normal phone if you want to reach them at school and so on. You want to pick them up, whatever might be the case. Don't allow them to be alone with these things. I would say if we can stop them from having these things, their personal mobile phones, they're so little, they're so young and they have it already. They have social media accounts. Do it. Let them interact with books. Let them be busy with activities. Take them for swimming, karate, whatever you might have. Okay, soccer, football. Get them involved in clubs. Things like that. Get their time busy. It's a bit more of an investment. It's okay. But let them be busy. When they sit around, because we didn't grow up like them. Right now we live in gated communities. We didn't grow up like that. I used to go to the forest. I used to walk to school 4 kilometers one way every day. And that's what I am today. It made me, yes, I got attacked, I had fights on the way, all kinds of, I used to climb trees. Man, but subhanAllah, this is life. We think right now that if we gate ourselves, we protect them. We don't. They're not, we box them. They're not naturally developing anymore. So naturally what will happen, they'll just take the phone and watch something, and that's pastime, and we get some quiet time, and everything on the whole dynamic society has changed. We work so late, we're so tired. When we come home, that's the last thing we want to hear is our kids screaming and crying, so we just give them the phone. We all do it. I do it sometimes. I'm really trying. My wife and I were really trying hard to get this thing off. Alhamdulillah, they don't have phone, but they'll take my wife's phone sometimes. I'm very strict with it. They do not touch my phone. And they say, but you are on the phone. Yes, because I do my work on the phone. When you reach my age and you are in my position, what I'm doing, then you can have your phone. Till then, you're my house, my rules, you don't have a phone. What you need a phone for anyway? You want to call your friend? Here, I'll dial it for you. Talk in front of me. Privacy? Well, you don't like it? This is the rules, man. There's no privacy like that. I'm not coming to the washroom when you're, in the washroom. That's your privacy. You don't have privacy. You're not an adult. You are under my wilaya. I am protecting you. I'm feeding you. For God's sake, I'll even tap you if I have to, for you to understand. I know what I'm talking about. I've been a teacher for a long time. It is the old way is the gold way. This was the right way. Our parents did it, our grandparents did it. Yeah, I mean, they didn't do everything perfect, but they had honor, they had ethics, they had morals. They feared God. They had their faith. And even if that was astaghfirullah, which is very rare, then at least you had, the people around you, the culture, the family who kept you in check. Now, come on, we could care less. Everyone has their own I, me, iPhone, I this, I that. It's all about me. So, it's very important to take these drastic steps. And I know of some families where the mothers, when the child comes in the house, even if they're older and they have their phones, when they have a family union, family gathering, dinner, whatever it is, the mother is strong. She has a box. The son is 25, 30. She says, put your phone in here. And she puts them away, all of them. Collects all the phone. When they leave, she gives it back. You're not using your phone at my table. Boy, I raise you, I'm going to whip you if I have to. You're not putting your hand on your phone when I'm at the table. We're missing these kind of fathers and mothers, you know. I mean, let them. No. So have some system. Yes, we need them, but as I said, the little ones, they should not have it. The older ones, they're 20, they left your house, they got married, and so on. It's a different story. They're in university, whatever, you know. At this point, khalas, they're not children anymore. You've done your best. Nuh alayhi salam did his best with his son. That's it. He's a prophet. He went astray, but he's done his best. He's not to be blamed. Ibrahim alayhi salam did his best with his father. Okay, the Prophet ﷺ did his best with Abu Talib. They all did their best. Lut alayhi salam did his best with his wife. Okay, Asya did her best with Fir'aun. They all did their best. In the end of the day, hidayah is from Allah. As we say in English, do your best, let God do the rest. Aql wa tawakkal. You know, do the asbab and leave it up to Allah. So may Allah protect us, inshallah. Yes? Okay, I believe that, again, education is the answer. You know, we need to educate the parents, we need to educate every generation. So, because some people are oblivious that these things are going on. And it's very taboo, again, because of society. I mean, when I had an incident, of many incidents in one of the schools, and the teacher was very traditional, you know, and she just wouldn't accept that these things can happen. She says, these things don't happen. I don't believe so. They were in denial. And when you're in denial, you cannot solve the problem. You can't. If you don't even know there's a problem that exists, you cannot solve it. You won't be able to. So we have to educate. I know a lot of jaws will drop and a lot of people will be like, no, I don't believe this. But I will show you. I will show you if we should do more sessions. And I champion these kind of sessions. And I always say that we have to inform parents and we have to teach adults how to deal with the children. And even with children. I had a session last week with my students, with boys and girls. We called one of the sisters to talk to the girls and I spoke to the boys. And the way they looked at me, they looked very, very innocent. And even the way they look, they're so innocent. When you look at them, you would never imagine. And I talked to them about some very, very strict things. About sex, about homosexuality, about pornography, about masturbation, about this and that. And they all looked like little lambs, you know. They're looking at me so cute. But when it came to Q&A session, I gave them papers to write and the questions came back. I knew exactly what I was talking about. I knew exactly what I was talking about. And they did ask the questions. The thing is, if they don't feel like they can ask someone or they have an avenue to get some answers, then they will turn to social media. And as soon as they put something, one of those keywords that I just said right now on social media, well, let hell loose. Because it's open season. Full, thousands if not millions of videos and websites. Choose so many ways to go astray. But if someone can help them, teach them, and they do appreciate it, they like it, they understand, and they do come and they do ask. But they have to feel, number one, that they're not being judged. You can judge them. It's not their fault actually right now. It's not their fault that they've been given these things. It's not their fault that this stuff has been created and they've been exposed. I told you, one exposure can hook you. A lot of them just innocently saw it. Someone opened it. A lot of times it is another friend. They go to their house and says, hey, let me show you something. And that's it. So we need to raise awareness. We need to talk to them. We have to educate them, and parents specifically. Because a lot of times if a parent sees their child looking at something, or they catch him, or they see it, or they're interested in a boyfriend or a girlfriend or this or that, parents flip over. They either start beating the child or start, removing them from school, or what kind of things, But that's not the solution. Because these kids, this is not necessarily just, they're affected, infected, I can even use the term by this. So you have to give him treatment, not necessarily punishment. Not necessarily punishment. Punishment is a different story. That's when it becomes criminalized. Okay, and we can talk about that. But they need treatment, they need help, and it can help. It can help. There is such things. People are confused. How do I deal with attraction? Opposite gender attraction, same gender attraction. What is this? Am I crazy? Am I this? Am I that? And if so, no one's able to explain to them and to rationalize them and say, look, man, it's not like that. Wait a second. I know how you feel. Take it easy. Let's talk about it. And people can come back to the right path. They can change. But if this is not addressed enough and they form their psychology, their personality, it can be too late. It can be too late. More and more exposure allows for dependency. Dependency forms the personality. Personality is very difficult to change once you reach a certain stage. So people need to take care. We need to educate them. We need to have sessions. Which imam or scholar talks about this? It's very easy to talk. We love and we respect. I'm trained and I've studied Islam and I've graduated and we learn fiqh and this is very important. This is the basics. But you have to relate these things to real life situations. How do you solve problems? The fuqaha of old addressed real life societal situations. Today we just talking in terms of theory. It's not theory. Who is there to address today? No, it's taboo. How can a sheikh address such things? How can a sheikh speak the words that I'm speaking? People don't like it. They get upset. This is not from the adab of Islam. What are you talking about? Read the books of the old scholars. Read the fuqaha and what they've addressed. They've talked about these things. Today we're shy. So we need to educate. We need to educate. We need to talk more. We need parents to understand. Parents need to talk to their kids. They have to be friends. Okay? You have to be friends. When they reach a certain age, khalas. You know, as Ali radiallahu anhu used to say that the children come, you know, they're born, they get raised, you play with them and so on. Then slowly they move into, you teach them, then they become your friends. You know, they reach a certain age where they have to feel like they can talk to you. They can talk to you. You're not going to judge them. You're going to understand them. You know, I want my daughter, if she likes a boy, to come and tell me. I want her to come and tell me, or my wife, to be so comfortable that and I can talk to her. And I can advise her. I can say what it is and when will it happen and about marriage and this and that. Not to say, astaghfir. Of course it's haram when you act on it. But the natural feeling is not haram. And people need to understand that. There's a difference, a big line and a big difference in between these. And you guide and you teach them as to why and what are the problems and what can happen and this and that. And then they understand, they feel they can talk to you. But if not, they're going to go and talk to their friends. Or they're going to try to do some research on the internet to know how to deal with these emotions. Because these emotions cause anxiety, and we don't like anxiety. We take pills for anxiety. We hate having anxiety. But anxiety is just a byproduct of a mismatch between what you feel and what you think, or what you know. And that can be solved. And a lot of times, most of the times, can be solved, majority of the times, through talking. Having someone to at least open up to, it solves half of the problem. We all know this saying. Talking about or admitting it solves half the problem. Indeed it does. It's a golden rule. Because if you keep it inside, you know, your mind is like, it will destroy your body. It will cause you to be sick. Your mind, your thoughts can kill you. Just like, you know, rust destroys iron, you know, oxygen, right? The same way, the mind can really destroy your body. How do people have heart disease? It's not just from diet. Yeah, diet plays a major role. It's because of stress. You're so stressed. If you're not stressed, mashallah, there's many, overweight people who are so happy and they're not stressed. They're eating, maybe their eating habits are not the best. They're so happy, always jolly, laughing, live long lives. They're not stressed. But if you're overweight and you're stressed, it's a killer combination, man. It's a killer, literally a killer combination. And even if you're not, even if you're just, recently we heard of a 20-year-old who had a heart attack and died. 20-something years. Too much stress. He was not overweight. He was fine. Everything was okay. Stress. So take a breath sometimes. Udhkur Allah, remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and take it easy. It's not worth it sometimes. طيب. Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, inshallah. Jazakumullah khair. If you want to message me, you can connect with me on social media. Okay? You just type Gabriel, 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 and then space AlRomaani, AlRomaani. Gabriel AlRomaani, AlRomaani. You'll find my tool, my Instagram and my Facebook. And if you want to send me a message or ask anything, inshallah, I can try to respond there, inshallah. Barakallahu feekum, jazakumullah khair. Wassalatu wassalamu Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.